Excellent. Excellent. And here we are again, episode 46 and a half, emergency pod for the Ladies Wot Pod.
The Ladies Wot Pod with their very first emergency pod.
Do we have an emergency pod alarm sound?
No, I was looking for one. And yes, I think, well, you know, I suppose we've got this one. That's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah.
That's rugby league-ish. Isn't that rugby league?
This one will always remain close to my heart. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, enough of the stuff. So emergency, but we've done an emergency pod because we were so keen to talk about our youngsters thrashing Leicester. Let's make no bones, thrashing Leicester, that we've overlooked other things that happened at the weekend, like an international and like Towcester Under 7s and Under 10s. And Alfie, the international man of mystery, has revealed himself on video. So we felt we had to go emergency pod. Also because I need to have a rant about England.
Now, I noticed on our little WhatsApp group, our dear friend Julia had a bit of a rant about England, and neither you or I responded. It was...
Just...
Sorry, Julia. I think we were like caged lions. We were not happy campers.
But I wasn't a happy camper when he revealed the team. When you think, OK, Henry Slade, you've played, 52 minutes of senior rugby since the start of the season.
Which we talked about on the previous pod that, you know.
Yeah.
Great player.
George Ford, nothing. Has not played a game since the beginning of the season. Boy, did it show. And so now, today, he's announced the new lineup, and what's changed? Nothing in the starting 15. And Ollie Slight's coming in, did you say, on the bench?
Yeah, he's in it. They've gone for a 5-3 split rather than the 6-2 split that they had for the previous game. And Cowan-Dickey.
Oh, yeah.
Luke Cowan-Dickey's come in for Teo Down.
So there we go. Dynamic, not.
I think. I don't. You know, I unfortunately I did have the misfortune to actually watch that game on Saturday. I thought I should have known better. I knew that I shouldn't have done it, but I did.
I went shopping.
Well,
went shopping in the second half. Watch the first half.
Poor Dr. Jones. The air was blue. I was just so fed up. With just stupid stuff, really stupid stuff that you wouldn't see from players in the Premiership.
No.
And then the pièce de résistance, I'm sorry, was those substitutions in the second half.
Yeah.
They were shocking.
Yeah.
You know, let's bring on a player that once in a World Cup rescued us with drop goals, who hasn't played a minute of rugby all season, who is being fed by a player who doesn't play a structured game at Bristol, in poor old Harry Randall, who was being asked to do something that he doesn't do with his team at Gate. And all of a sudden, it falls apart.
Oh, what a surprise. Who could have foreseen? Anybody with half a brain could have foreseen.
Now, the man that scored... You know, drop goals in a howling gale in Munster. Was probably in some corporate box, hitting his head against the wall.
Yeah. And isn't there again. Which, I don't get it.
But there is something, So I think there is something systemically wrong with the structure associated with England. I mean, all of a sudden, we've had that whole revelation upon revelation in, you know, players' books about what was going on in the Eddie Jones era. We all knew it was going on. We all knew it was going on. They talked about, Eddie's a hard taskmaster. No, he was a bully.
He's a bully.
He was clearly
a bully. We saw it with Saints players, didn't we? Who came back broken.
Yeah. He was clearly a bully. He got through staff like no tomorrow.
And what's happening now?
Well, I don't know whether Steve Borthwick is in the same vein, but there's clearly an unhappy camp.
There's something is not firing right, is it? Because you don't lose staff like he loses staff without there being something, as you say, systemically wrong somewhere in the RFU. And whether it's with Borthers himself or higher up or whatever, I don't know. But it is ridiculous that with the riches we've got in the Premiership, we're playing George Ford onto the bench. It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that with the riches we've got in the Premiership, we're playing Dan Cole, who's 127 if he's a day. Yeah. It makes no sense. Where is planning? Where is the succession planning?
No, and we're 3 years out from a World Cup and we're still doing it. We're still trotting out players who will not be playing in that next World Cup. We're not blooding players soon enough. We're not getting them enough, caps under their belt. We're breaking,
if we're going to...
It's ridiculous.
If we're going to Blasterwell lose to the All Blacks, let's lose with spirit. Let's lose because we're trying new things, not because we're wheeling out players who are past their sell-by date and expecting other players to do stuff that is not in their skill set, because that's not how they play week in and week out. There, that's it. I'm saying no more now. That's England put to bed. Don't care.
Well, we do care about the three lads who are...
We do very much.
With the red rose on their chest. Yeah. I haven't heard Scotland's pick their team, but we did have wonderful news today.
We did. Yes.
Our favourite Scottish prop, of course, the brilliant Elliot Millar-Mills. Talk about, it's almost like a rags to riches story. The man who lost his job as a result of wasp folding, who was stood on the touchline. I'll never forget this really sad figure watching training, waiting to go on as a trialist at the Gardens, and me asking Liz who he was and her explaining that he was Elliot Millar-Mills. And, there he is winning a Premiership title and getting his international cap.
Yeah.
It's utterly brilliant, and he's a lovely, lovely man.
Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
We love chatting to Elliot. I love the fact he's a really lovely guy. I love chatting to him after games. He's direct. He tells you how he feels about stuff. And Elliot, congratulations, because you absolutely deserve it, mate.
Just make sure you have no baked goods upon your person when chatting to him.
He's a man who likes his baked goods, isn't he?
He's front row. Front row, goes without saying. Brilliant news, Elliot Millar-Mills. Well, and we went to training, didn't we? This afternoon.
It was Tuesday. Somebody'd switched the lights off because it's November.
Yes,
so we stood in the dark.
Oh, it's only grey. It wasn't quite dark.
It didn't rain, and it wasn't windy. Normally, pitch 2 is like a wind tunnel. But no, it was busy. It was bustly. Again, lots of the academy lads buzzing about the place.
Huge amounts of energy coming off those boys.
Massive energy. It was slightly overwhelming. Lots of shouting, lots of reassurance, lots of actually everything that you want to hear from the lads. And I think Saturday's game against Nottingham, we're going to see another really, really interesting game. And Nottingham are no slouches. They do have some former Saintsman in their midst. Mr. Oliver Fayler used to play for us.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I was getting mixed up with his brother, but I think it's Ryan.
Yes, the other one plays for Doncaster, doesn't he? Because he was at
now.
Bedford.
Yeah. So anyway, but and I believe Matty Arden plays for Nottingham. Am I right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Former of this parish, and I think he's going to be given his winner's medal by Lizzie.
Ah, that's nice.
So training was. I was busy. You were pleased to see. Anna Litchfield, he did get the ball. He was at training.
He was at training. Oh, mate, I made sure photographs were taken.
Yes, you did.
Make sure.
You were on Literally Watch, and he did get the ball. He must have been slightly unnerved by a middle-aged, red-haired woman stalking him. I thought when you got in the running lines, I thought that was just too much.
Just, give it to Litchi! Was a bit, yeah. Everybody looked a little distressed at that. That didn't really happen, chaps. That's just in our imagination.
No, I think Vesti would have carted you off the pitch.
No, I keep a very low profile, but everybody's very warm and welcoming.
Now you've got your Halos hat on. So
I know.
Yeah,
I'm there officially. Chief Halo's there watching them. Nobody seems surprised. Everybody just comes over and chats, don't they? Oh, hello.
Hello, how you doing? Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, it was good to see Shieldsy was there. Lizzie in her very smart bench coat.
Very smart.
Because she went for the long one. And she knows it's hers because it's got her initials on it. So if any of the lads try and nick it, we don't have a player with the initials LG, do we? No.
I couldn't think of one.
So you're stuffed, boys.
All I kept thinking was Lorne Green, because he was a film star, wasn't he?
I don't think he ever played in the Centres for us.
I don't think he ever played for the Saints, but yeah. So, no, it's good. It was good. And I think you will see Saturday's team is going to be another youthful and exuberant bunch of lads.
If the energy that was on the pitch that we saw today is anything to go by, absolutely. And
I'm very excited.
And Will Spencer scored a very nice try in training.
Yes. I'll say yes, youthful and exuberant, and Will Spencer, who is exuberant but not so youthful. So yeah.
But he's doing his job, bless him. Doing his job. And I got photographs of Mr. Lockett in the air again.
Yes. Yeah, lovely to see Tom Lockett charging about the place.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was good. It was very nice to see.
Yeah, it's good to do Tuesday training. You get a sort of feel for how everybody is, and the answer is upbeat, as you would hope.
Very upbeat. Yeah.
Very upbeat.
Yeah, very excited.
Now, Towcester. We didn't have our usual report from Towcester because we were recording early. But they were phased, and in actual fact, the international man of mystery, Alfie.
Yeah. Came forward with the video.
And did his interview. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Friendly Ginger, I played a match and it was very, very hard. We played us and another team. I forgot. BBOB.
BBOB.
I mean BBOB. I won. They almost beat us. I scored a brilliant try. And also I passed a lot to Xander. And also I almost helped Xander do a try. The end. I had three very tough matches against BOB and Buckingham, and in the end we won one match, we lost one match, and I'm not sure about the last match.
No, it was close to the last match, I'm not sure either.
And I got injured, I pulled a muscle, and I did a good tackle, and that's pretty much everything.
You were in the scrum?
Oh yeah, I was in the scrum, and that's it.
Now, I like the fact that Big Brother wasn't letting any. These young whippersnappers nicking my slot.
Yeah, who does he think he is?
Thank you, gentlemen. A fine review.
Yes, thank you, boys. See you, soon. Well, I'll see them tomorrow, but this will be out after. No, never mind. Don't confuse yourself.
Whenever I manage to make the Rolls Royce of podcasting software behave itself, it'll be out. Yes.
Yes.
So yes, and then lastly, you and I paid a very special visit before.
We did. Very quite moving in our own little way.
So for many years, the G Parker that is named on the Saints War Memorial, we didn't know who he was. Nobody had any idea who he was. And I hated it when there was the outline of a soldier, particularly when we found out who he was.
It was in the area.
Outline of a soldier. It wasn't even in the army. Outline of a soldier on the big screen when each of those who were named on the war memorial had their photos shown on the big screen. But G. Parker, no idea who he was.
But then.
And so I started researching probably 2019. I started looking for him when we were doing Mob Zone stuff, because I was wandering around Dallington Cemetery where some of the Mob Zone are buried, and I found G. Parker. And Graham said, but he would be too young, Claire. He was 24 when he died in 1943, so he'd be too young. And this G. Parker was in the Royal Air Force. He wasn't in the army at all. Anyway, I searched high and low in your ancestries and your Find My Pasts and the whatever, and I couldn't find anything. And what changed was a couple of things. One, the 1921 census came out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at George's entry on the Commonwealth War Graves Commission website, his mother is named, and that gave me the route to get to him.
Yeah.
The other thing that happened, whilst looking for something else, when we heard this before, Liz?
Yeah, it's very familiar. Very familiar. Yes, my Albert.
Looking for someone else, I found a Mr. George Parker made his debut in 1937 against Leicester. And he was in the Leicester Mercury. It wasn't in any of the Northampton papers. He replaced Gordon Sturtridge, who was injured in the centres, and he played against Leicester. And I found George. His debut was in 1937. It was the autumn of 1937. And he played 11 times for the Saints. I mean, he was never going to get past the big presence that was Gordon Sturtridge. So it was not surprising he played a few times. But I also, just to make absolutely sure I really was our George, I actually downloaded every G. Parker who died in the Second World War and proved that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
And eventually, Graham, bless his cotton socks, agreed that it was George Parker. He was a Saints player. And then he went and talked to the archivist from the team that he did play for, which I think is BBOB, but I could be wrong. I could have got the wrong team. And found a photo of George, and it's a wonderful photo. I'll put it on the end of the video.
Photo. It's a brilliant photo.
He's not in Saints colours. He's in his junior club colours. But the best thing is he has Fair Isle socks.
Knitted by his mum.
Knitted by his mum.
And odd boots.
And odd boots, because clearly he's managed to blag a new boot off one of his mates who works in the shoe factories. So, but the twist in the tale is George was in service 20 minutes from where I live here in Cambridgeshire. The man I'd searched for so long was in the RAF at what's now Cambridge Airport. And he died in Ely Hospital, which is also 20 minutes from the other way from where I live. So the man I searched for so long, we've been really close by all along.
So, and we went and had a chat with him, didn't we, today? And
we
told him
to see George, and we put one of those little RBL crosses on his grave to pay our respects. Because
told him about the lads, what the lads had done on Friday.
Said, you made your debut in your teens. Yeah. You'd be really impressed to see the lads who made their debuts on Saturday. So rest in peace, Sergeant George Parker.
And then we've got, of course, Saturday, the game against Nottingham is the wreath laying and the Remembrance service. And I think Uncle Jeff will be back to do his bit.
Yes, Pete Nuttall confirmed that Jeff was coming back. So, and we'll all be willing him to get to the end.
I will be laying the wreath on behalf of the supporters in my role as chairman of the Supporters Club. And I'll be willing myself to get to the end without blarting.
Yes.
See how that
I'll be
goes.
taking photos of you.
Yes, and we'll have tissues. So yeah. So see some of you on Saturday, maybe even some of you on Friday night if I make it to the Battle of Bedfordshire in Bedford.
Yes.
And
So Sherpa 2 has been in touch. He's given the IT department a job on Friday.
was he? What's that then?
Scoreboard's on the blink. So that I mean, your IT department might want to bring some cables too.
I was going to say, I thought he was going to ask Sherpa 1 to walk around the ground with the score, like the girls do. And
no, he's got a remote control device that he's hoping will work, but he needs Sherpa 2's help. But knowing Sherpa 1's help, even let's get our Sherpas.
Even yes,
so Dr. Jones is helping with the remote control device. But I then said, but you probably want to make the laptop and the cables talk to the scoreboard properly. So I said it could be an IT department's day out.
It could. They could be, yeah. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. So Ampthill and Nottingham await. Do we know where Lightning are going?
No, I don't know. My IT department's just come home.
Exeter. They're at Exeter, aren't they?
Exeter, yes. Yeah.
Yes. So they're at Sandy Park. So safe travels, ladies.
Safe journeys, ladies, and we'll catch up with people next week. And I must now go.
So that was
cook dinner.
At 46 and a half episode.
Yeah.
Done.
Episode 46 and a half. Yes, I'll go and cook dinner. Thank you very much, folks. See you soon.
Bye.
Cheers then. Bye.